Yo guys, what's up? It's your boy Farron Khalid. I'm back again with another episode of Collective Connect. And today I got my boy Matthew Harrison on the show. I met Matthew Harrison in a corner store coffee in Cardiff when I was meeting my boy Ibby Tarafder. Ibby was on the show about 2 weeks ago, so now I got his creative friend who's also coming on the show to talk a bit about what he does, who he is, his process, how he got to where he is, and just any advice he can give to other creatives. So Matthew, bro, I'll just let you introduce yourself, man.
Hello.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, man.
No worries, man.
It's good to do this.
Good stuff.
My name is Matthew Harrison. I'm a creative designer, and I'm here to talk with Farron about all things positive and all things creative.
For sure, bro. So what got you into creative design, man?
Initially, I think my introduction to it was through music,
Right.
things like artworks and cover albums and things like that.
Cool, man.
So obviously, initially, I was into the music. Then when I saw the extra creative media around it, like album covers and things like that, I wanted to know the process behind that.
Yeah, cool.
So that was my first introduction to graphic design.
Yeah, it's interesting how one sort of industry or one sort of creative field can actually inspire you to go into so many different things.
Yeah. So initially, it was through music. I think the first introduction was Gorillas.
Yeah, I know Gorillas in Cardiff, man. Shout out Gorillas. They got all the crazy arcade machines in that downstairs, right?
No, I don't mean. I mean
oh, that's Kongs I'm thinking of. Don't shout out Kongs. Sorry, Kongs.
No, shout out Kongs.
No, shout out Kongs. Very good too. Yeah.
I mean Gorillas, the music band.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Windmill,
falling.
Yeah.
I love that
song. So I think it was Clint Eastwood. That was the first music video that I was like, because obviously when you're a kid, I loved watching anime and things like that, cartoons. But when I saw that, it was weird because it wasn't just an animation with background music. Right. It was synchronized with the music. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Cool.
It was animation specifically for the music.
Oh, and right. So the animation kind of linked in with the sounds of the music, so it all flowed very nicely. Which I guess was the first time you've seen something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that sort of changed my perspective on animation and music, and I wanted to know the process behind that. And obviously, again, going back to album covers and things like that, just seeing the process behind how that was done, and that cascaded into other avenues like music, illustration, and whatnot. So
yeah, man. So what type of I'm assuming you work freelance, right, mainly?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's the process like for you in terms of getting clients and actually getting people to come and work with you? Because I guess it's not easy as a freelancer when you begin, but I'm guessing you have a bit of experience. I mean, maybe delve into that a bit.
Starting off is always the hardest part, but once you get the ball rolling, you can have, everything happens in waves and phases. So obviously everyone says it's about getting yourself out there, promoting yourself and showing your work. But then there's always, personally, I had a lot of work I did a lot of my freelance work while I was in Birmingham in uni. But then after leaving uni, I kind of started exploring other things and then not giving my full attention to that, and fell into the momentum of that quickly dropped back down. And getting that back up.
Bro, it's actually kind of the same with me. Right now I'm in uni, and prior to me going uni, I've always wanted to run my own business. I had a clothing line before I went to uni, which was doing really well before I went uni.
Are you doing a lot of things? Are you juggling things?
Yeah, I juggle a few different projects. Obviously this is more about you, so I don't really want to delve into that too much, but I do a few different projects. But I found that uni really slowed down my momentum in terms of me actually moving forwards a lot of the time. But I think as well it's I don't know, maybe talk a bit more about that.
Uni became a distraction for me, to be honest. Because I personally found that I was learning more from meeting people doing what I was interested in doing.
Yeah, facts, big facts.
Yeah. That whole sentiment of who you know and what you know.
Yeah.
And obviously, it does go hand in hand with what you know at times, but it does help to realize, to have a network of people.
Yeah, man. Bro, it's for me, it's working with people in the industry and actually collaborating with people and doing my own projects. I think I've learned a lot more than anything I've done inside uni. Although uni does help as well, and it's nice to know I've got a degree, but I don't think it's really going to do much for me.
Especially now with the connectivity we have, you can find the people who if you have that sense that you know where you want to go, and you can find that person that's doing what you're doing, you can go straight to them.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Bro, with social media and with platforms like LinkedIn, especially in terms of business, and in terms of Instagram, in terms of creatives, and even things like Facebook, I think still pretty decent-ish.
Yeah, but I personally just don't vibe with Facebook so much.
Yeah, it's kind of lost young people, man.
Yeah, and obviously like you're getting so many new different platforms that I think Facebook is still, it's going to be a generational thing, isn't it? Different platforms are going to come out and appeal in different ways.
Yeah.
Instagram's a lot more visual, whereas Facebook and LinkedIn have a very corporate sort of.
Yeah, for sure, and that's an interesting point. Like the platforms change, so that's interesting. What type of creative stuff do you do? Like, what do you specialize in particularly? What do you enjoy?
Enjoy, man. I'm too curious. I enjoy everything that I can try, and I like to experiment and try different things. But most of my experience is through graphic design, so logos, branding, things like that. But I've also done motion graphics, animation. Like I said, I've done film. But in terms of, I'm kind of at a crossroads with what I want to do next and sort of what area I want to push my creativity towards. Right. So that's kind of something I'm experimenting with and exploring at the moment.
Do you feel like as a creative, you'll never really finish with what you want to do? Like new projects come up and you're always kind of meandering to the next sort of thing?
Well, it's funny you ask that, man. Like literally, I was just reading the other day, Da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
What a role model.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish we could live in the age of discovery. That would have been cool.
I know, innit? But he had a quote, he said, art is never finished, only abandoned. So, and if you keep, for example, like journaling is something which people have always said is a good thing to do, and they highly recommend it. Yeah. And through doing that myself, I found that when you revisit it, you see ideas which can come back to you at another time, and you can build upon it. And realizing that I've had all these great ideas which I've sort of forgotten about. So that quote really resonated with me about art is always an ongoing thing, but it's whether or not you persist with it, and you build, you keep building the bricks rather than. So, but I agree totally.
Journaling's an interesting idea. Kind of what got you into journaling? How did you get to that sort of like, what made you start, and what benefits have you seen from journaling, and how do you go about journaling?
It's just jotting down your thoughts, isn't it? Whether it's like through images or words. It's just about extracting the thoughts that are in your head, the ideas, and getting them on paper, because obviously, our minds and our imagination is infinite, and things come in and out, and it's good to, when there are certain ideas that really hit and have a heavy weight to them, and those are the ones which you need to remember, because there's a sort of intuition that those ideas have longevity, and there's something about them which will carry you into the future, whatever that future may be.
Yeah, man.
So journaling for me is very important.
Would you advise people to journal? I mean, because I'm assuming this works from a creative standpoint, but for me personally, I've started doing something called the Future Authoring Program. Okay. I'll let you go back, so I know you were going to say something just then. We'll go back to that point. What is it? But basically, it's a program made by a clinician called Jordan Peterson, and the idea of
the psychologist.
Yeah, he's a psychologist.
Yeah, I like him, man.
So yeah, he's good, man. And I started doing his Future Authoring Program, and basically the idea behind it is it's like you got to describe what your future would look like in the most descriptive detail possible, and it's going to ask you so many sub-questions to actually get there. And since I've done it, man, I feel so much less anxious. I feel so much more empowered. I feel so much more. I know what I want, and there's nothing that's going to stop me now. There's nothing that's going to stop me.
When you do that, it's surprising to realize how much you have planned out for yourself, and seeing yourself in a way, seeing you write out who you are. And then having a vision and a plan for yourself and seeing it visually like that, when otherwise you kind of surprise yourself that, I kind of already know the things I want to do and the steps I want to take. Rather, when you don't do things like that, you kind of just carry on letting other thoughts and influences and opinions.
And the thing is, if you don't sort of sit down and do a plan for your life and in the detail
really
it does,
think
about it. Because the thing is, I think we generally kind of know what we want, but then we move on to something else. And it's one thing, then the next.
But when you take the time to journal and think about it,
that links back into journaling.
Yeah.
Go on to
but what you'll find is there'll be sort of patterns. There'll be patterns. You'll have patterns of ideas, patterns of thoughts, and you'll recognize that there are things that you keep coming back to, and ideas that, because for example, when you have an idea and a vision for yourself, of all the things you can imagine, visualize for yourself, you'll have, you'll have certain things that you consistently go back to, whether it's, in my case, I love going back to exploring film, things and stuff. So when you do journaling and you constantly review it and update it, then you can sort of, I'm trying to think of the word for it.
Love this pure value. Boom.
But like you said, it's like with self-development and progression, you can see where you're at and where you need to progress, whether it's ideas or personal things, like things you want to accomplish personally, personal development, things like that. So, and as well, like, do you write it or do it?
So I write it generally on my laptop. I usually like writing things down on.
Writing or typing there?
Typing.
Have you read that thing about how there's more connectivity? With
writing?
With
your brain and neurons and all that when you write. Is that something like that?
Yeah.
I know. And like with blue pen instead of black pen. That usually sticks with your memory more. I usually like to write, but then the problem is I lose my notes. So and I have like literally at my house I have like 30 notebooks. So I write a lot, but now.
When's the last time you looked through them?
Not for a while, actually. I should probably look through them because there's probably some golden nuggets hidden there.
That's what I mean. It's when you keep those. But it's that whole thing, you know, with archiving, and you'll find, like you said, hidden gems, golden nuggets, which get lost in time. And when you come back to them, they'll reconnect with where you're at now.
Sure, man. Quick question. On the, probably a more immediate practical sense in terms of being creative. So I'm a creative person. I just finished uni. I want to be a freelancer. How do I get my first client? How do I get the revenue coming through the door? How do I turn this into something which will actually provide me a living?
Well, now the thing is just getting yourself out there, man.
Right. How do you do that? How do you get yourself out there? Because there's so many people out there wondering right now, like, what can I do to? And for me, it's just move forward. Don't talk shit. Just go do.
Do what you want to do. Show people what you want to do. Tell them how you're going to do it, and let them come to you. It's not like the days of old where you had to cold call people, try and sell them, convince them. At the end of the day, if they can see...
Cold calling still works.
Yeah, in some cases, but for the most part, you know, you've got access to platforms where you can just do what you do, free of charge, and the amount of people that can just come to you, rather than all the time and energy trying to convince people, over the phone or something, where you can just show them the work straight off the bat.
How did you get your first client, if you don't mind me asking, or the first person you worked with who paid you?
First paid client.
We care about the moolah. Like, we like our portfolios, but they only go so far. We want to make some money after all.
Like, in terms of money,
the portfolio matters. Build that shit up, and you get some big jobs.
Yeah. Portfolio matters, but definitely like. Initially, I did do that whole be willing to do things for free. I was happy.
You made a podcast about that, work for free, so check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, so you touched on that point, that's great.
Yeah, but no, I think obviously that's a decision people need to decide upon, whether they're willing to invest in themselves like that. But it's definitely worth doing, because if you stress too much about getting money straight away, if you've never done work beforehand,
100%.
It's hard to... because there's always, pricing strategy, things like that. How much do you think you're worth? How much do you want to charge? So,
I guess you got to see it from a business owner's perspective. So I'm a business owner. I want to rebrand my company. You fucking Lucy Jenkins, 22, just finished uni, no portfolio for shit, wants to charge me £1,000 for a rebrand. No, I'm just going to go straight to an agency or someone who's going to do it properly. So I think you need credentials. You need something which has the proof in the pudding.
The thing is, even for the next generation who has access to all the software and design programs, you'd be surprised at how good, because I started, even with myself, I started dabbling with Adobe when I was 12, 13, 14, and with how good technology is now, you'll be surprised at seeing how good 10-year-olds are when they come to illustration.
100%, bro.
They can just probably download,
Yeah, and with all online classes and tutorials, and there's so much access to information. Honestly, if I had the mind I had at 10 now, I'd be like Bill Gates.
The weird thing for me is, in terms of with design and business, I've generally been considering looking at very much younger people for design work, because they'll probably do it for free, just because they're in that phase where they absolutely love it with a passion. They're just doing it.
No, for sure, go on.
But until like I say, going back to the talent and the skills that the next generation are going to have with all the tools and technology they have, they're going to be just as good as we are now, and the older generation are.
100%, bro. And also what I think is if I'm a business owner, that is such a smart insight, go to the kids for work.
Go
for like what, 12 to 13, 14
there are so many
year-olds?
people I've seen, like honestly, like my age.
I'm going to totally do that. Collective Connect. If any kids want to jump up on our community as creatives, hit me up. We'll make this happen. And I'll pay you a fair price. I'm not just going to bump you just because he said, but, you know, we'll do half price discount. Yeah, first time around. There you go.
Buy you a cupcake.
There you go. I'll buy you a cupcake and a match attacks. I don't even think kids play match attacks anymore. I used to love that shit.
What was that?
Match attacks.
Match attacks.
You know the football cards?
No.
Yeah, I used to hustle everyone in school for them, man. I used to go around selling like the golden ones for £1 and that.
Yeah. Like,
off topic, sorry.
But no, but I mean, it's true. Like, going back, like you said, whether it's creativity and business, there's so many kids like business savvy now. They're saying they want to be entrepreneurs, and from the get-go, they're learning. Do you know what I mean? They understand. They can use the internet to learn everything they need to know. For sure. And honestly, like, some of the work I've seen from a 15-year-old is better than some of the work I used to do when I was like, so I'm 24 now, and like some of the work they're doing at 15 is better than the work I was doing when I was 20, 21. It's crazy.
Yeah, like that's an interesting part. I don't think that's a reason to be discouraged though. So I think like as humans we have this natural tendency to compare ourselves against each other. You know, like naturally, how are you doing compared to me? Because we live in like hierarchies, and like you're above me in the hierarchy, I'm below, and it's all that crazy nonsense, which I think is quite antiquated. And I think we should move past it in the next. I don't know, another topic for another day. But I think as a creative, I guess it's so important not to compare yourself to people and just to make.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, comparison is good advice.
Yeah, I think like comparing yourself in a healthy way, where it's like I want to be like not like that person, but I want to like I admire what they do, and like, I can do stuff on that sort of level, if not better.
Yeah. What's all about that? It's all about support and, you know, continuing to build bridges and ladders, so that. And for the sake of progression, like, don't get me wrong, like competition is always good as long as it's healthy competition.
Yeah.
For the betterment of each other, like,
for sure.
You know what, I think you can do better than that. 100%. Rather than, you know, it's not about, you know, trying to phase, you know, people out and do better than one another and get overly, you know, it's all about creation rather than destruction.
Yeah, man, I think this is like one of the core ideas behind Collective Connect, is this idea that like, people tend to work in silo, so people will tend to work on their own projects in their own way, whereas like naturally I think we were talking about tribe mentality earlier, right? Yeah. So we're meant to work together. It's how the human species evolved. We're social creatures. We work together, and when we work together we release chemicals inside of us like serotonin, oxytocin, like which oxytocin is more like a love connection chemical, serotonin sort of like leadership, I will do it, and dopamine, which responds to rewards inside of you, and I think like working together really brings out the best in us. And I think when we work together in silo, the amount of impact we can create in terms of what can be commonly created as a consensus among us. Like, what do we commonly want? How can we all work together to actually make that happen in a community? And it can be done for a greater good. Sorry, I know this isn't shouting out just Collective Connect. You're on the show. Talk about whatever you want. No. But I just think it's important to keep reminding people of the vision of what we're trying to build, man.
Well, I mean, that's the reason I wanted to do this. You know, like seeing the idea and the philosophy about, you know, Collective Connect and connecting collectively. You know, it's definitely about that sort of returning to like the roots of us as humans.
Paid sponsor.
But no, I agree with it totally. You know, I think the best work is when you can build off of each other, and when ideas can sort of coagulate and mix and become a melting pot. Because if you can get trapped with your own ideas and your own thoughts and thinking that you stumbled across something that's very, you know, something that's the best idea in the world, but without other people's viewpoints and sort of the feeling they get from that, you'll never know. You know, it has to be shared with others for it to be what you want it to be.
Yeah, like I know a few people who, like, I'm not going to shout out because I have courtesy for people. I'm not really going to bait people out. But I know people who are like so protective about their work that they never want to share it with anyone. And it's like you could get so much value from criticism, but I guess like a tendency, especially for creative people, but I think it's like a general sort of thing. It's like, I think definitely for creative people in general, it's like they don't want to show their work a lot of the time, and they don't want to be criticised on how to be better. And I think that's a big problem.
That's one of the biggest barriers, is just getting your idea out there, sharing it, And like one of my favorite brands ever, Nike, just do it. But that's the hardest thing to
just do it, man.
But that's one of the hardest things to work up towards, because you have all these ideas. You're choosing which one to. Do you want to focus on one, or do you want to see if you can do several at a time? Because that's definitely something that, like I said, I'm thinking of at the moment. Do I push with one of my ideas, or explore others at the same time? But yeah, I think just don't give a shit, man.
Yeah, man. Facts. Facts. Big facts.
Fucking Gary Vee says it best.
Yeah, bro. He's the goat at this shit.
Yeah,
bro.
culturally, like culturally, people like him, Jordan Peterson. Not really into politics that much, but I don't know. There's some. Ben Shapiro, I think. Okay. People who are very direct. I haven't
checked him out. I'll look.
Yeah. But people who are very direct.
Who won't be around the bush. They'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no offense behind it.
Yeah.
It's just this is how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a general cornerstone of Western society. And it's like you will say the truth as much as you can, and like it's whether it's down to you to accept it or not.
Yeah.
It's like we can learn from each other and criticize each other on what we think, but I think for people like Gary Vee and Jordan Peterson not to step out and say what they say, society is just not a better place. It's not a cooler place to live in.
Going back to what you said about like the human condition, about how much more how much stronger we had to be when like our ancestors had to be. We had to go hunt for food, climb mountains, travel continents.
Facts, man.
And like
100%.
We've become so
comfortable.
Not comfortable, but docile.
What does that mean? I don't know
docile.
What docile means.
Kind of like caved in.
Yeah, I love that.
And not really wanting to,
Yeah.
I think I'll have to look that up actually.
Yeah.
But I think like caved in and frigid, and not out and expressive.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because there's this idea that I was reading in Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. It's a book that I recently got into, and he said that the body's like still designed and the mind's still designed to be adapted for like 1,000, 10,000 years ago. The mind hasn't changed much, but we live in like this modern society. So when you're inside an office place and you don't feel safe, your body doesn't internalize it as being inside an office. It thinks you're in the savannah desert. It thinks you're out in like this big wild landscape with threats and things around you, which is like how we...
And again, back to that point.
So should we challenge ourselves accordingly?
Yeah, we've evolved. We've taken tens of thousands of years to evolve through certain conditions for certain functions, and one of the main things for that is movement, exercise. And like I said, with us being so docile, we're caved in, we're sat down all day every day doing nothing but twiddling our fingers. Our body's thinking, what the fuck's going on? Why aren't we doing what we've been designed to do over these thousands of years?
Exercising, fighting, hunting, doing something. Yeah, man.
And like
that's interesting.
And technology's like taking all that away from us. Well, it hasn't taken it away from us. We've forgotten about it because of technology. Yeah,
but I think as well, like a general idea is like technology can actually be used to nudge people into doing that more. And actually promote that. I think like it's how you view it. Because like people always say technology is like a really bad thing. But I think technology just exposes us. I think one of the,
again, it's like it's a reflection. It's a reflection of who we are. And sorry, I keep kind of,
keep moving away from this iPhone audio. I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get some audio equipment set up soon, which I can take portably when we're not in the studio. So if you found the audio quality of this episode not to be so great, stick with me and us because we're gonna get some dope equipment soon.
Doing it guerrilla style.
And we'll do a part 2, won't we?
Just out and about on there. But no, it's good, man. But yeah, I think. Do you exercise much?
Oh yeah, dude. Like try to every day at least, or like every other day.
Yeah, just to
get it's a habit, man. It took me about 30 to 60 days to really kick into it.
That's the thing, developing habits, man.
Yeah, man. It's like you got to do it, man. Like you got to.
Because I've always had phases of being in and out of exercise. I've been telling myself I need to get back to running, and it's only I think in the last year I've been up, early in the morning between 5, 7 or 8 a.m. Go out for a run, doesn't have to be long, 15, 30 minutes. And like you said, it goes back to the chemical release, endorphins. It makes you, your body's like, okay, we're ready to go.
It masks physical pain. It makes you like, if you're running, And it makes you feel good.
And as well, going back to needing to challenge yourself, because we're stuck in comfort, just sitting down, and not really challenging ourselves mentally or physically. We're just sat down doing our work. And especially with running, why I love it so much is the barrier it gives you, when you start to fatigue and you lose your breath. If you can push through that barrier, then you can start to make, it cascades throughout your day, and you can find yourself taking on bigger challenges, because running is inherently embedded in our DNA. So when we reconnect to that, our mind and our body is happy. We're doing what,
we're designed to do.
Yeah, what made us who we are, over all these years. And just the challenge of it.
Tell you what I think is really scary, and it's just hit me now, is how unconscious some people are to literally most things. And it's like we just take everything around us for being reality, and we take it all for granted, thinking this is everything. And they never consider we have ancestors. They never consider you can grow as a person. They just think, Instagram and social media is life, and everything's just the way it is. And I'm just gonna watch Netflix for 15 hours and do nothing. It's like, oh my God, wake up. I wish something would sink through where it's like there's so much more to that, man.
It is.
That winds me up. That's a real wind up.
It winds you up, but at the same time, it shouldn't, because everyone's on their own journey, on their own path.
For sure, no judgments.
People will be ready to glean and see what they need to see.
No one's perfect as well.
Yeah, exactly.
No one is perfect.
People will see.
Even me, the podcast guy, I'm not perfect.
That's what this is for, man. Though, connecting, collectively growing.
Exactly, man.
That's the thing. It's about everyone will see what they need to see when they need to see it, and they'll know what they need to know when they need to know it.
For sure.
And that definitely helps with the internet, having access to all the information we need. We can go back in time and understand, our history, our ancestry. We can even, project into the future and see, we can see the whole spectrum, rather than just being so short-sighted and focus on, just Netflix or social media, and not having the open-mindedness to just question things,
I think that's one of the powers creative people have. It's I think creativity tends to be a trait, and it's traded by openness. And
do you think, are you one of these people that thinks it's inherent, or do you think it can be developed?
I think it can be developed.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't think it.
Me too.
I think maybe you have experiences which kind of lend into it a bit, or maybe you have natural interests which lend into it a bit. Maybe you have some traits that kind of lend into it, like openness. Openness is a big one. You're very open-minded, and you just really open up to everything, and you're radically open, and you're probably going to be very creative as well. I think creativity is this degree of vulnerability. You don't protect yourself, you don't create this narrative about yourself, you just let go of everything and see things for what it actually is, and then you kind of narrate on it. I think that's one thing of it, but I think everyone's creative. I think you just need to nurture it, and I think to deny creativity, whether you're a banker or an accountant, whether you're a scientist or a mathematician, or whether you're working in a bloody Tesco even, you can apply it everywhere. And when you apply it, you'd be surprised how much better you'll do with your job.
Going back to what you said, about vulnerability, that's the thing with the archetype of the creative or the artist, is they have a canvas and they let everything that's inside of them, and they pour it out onto whatever medium it is, whether it's film, painting, things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas with other occupations, there's not much room for vulnerability. You're just given a task, do this task, and that's all that's required of you. There's no sort of emotional sort of investment into it. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, no, I agree. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think some people actually really like it that way. Yeah.
Which is not bad. I mean, for me personally, it doesn't.
There is
What do you mean? Yeah, go on.
I mean, in terms of.
I'm being factory line worker now. All working in just doing something very mechanical where you don't have to think. You're just doing it with your body. It's very, turn the wheel and make sure you do it till 12, and then the alarm goes off, and then it's lunch.
Yeah. I mean, if you're aware of what you're doing and you enjoy it and you're emotionally involved with it, then that's fine. But a lot of people, there's no emotional expression through what they're doing, and that's where the issue is. That's where people are, suffering, feeling like they're not who they are and fulfilling their higher purpose.
For sure, man.
So it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a factory worker and you love it because maybe you want to open your business and have your own, have your own factory or something like that, and that's fine. Whatever job it is. as long as you're, you can enjoy what, like you said, if you're working in Tesco or whatever job, if you're a cleaner, like the moment, that's what I'm doing. I'm a part-time cleaner, man. That's the job I'm working at the moment.
Dope, man. I worked in Pret, Zara, where else have I worked? Car wash. I've worked everywhere, man.
That's the thing,
and I like, you know what? This is interesting because right now I'm making this podcast. I'm the podcast guy. I'm 20 right now.
Yeah.
For the next 10 years, I'm being serious. Do you know what I'm going to do for the next 10 years? I'm really going to go out. I'm not going to spend money. I'm going to save money. I'm going to have a job, maybe in industry, maybe in thing, and I'm going to pursue my work. And that's it. I'm not going to be flashy. I'm not going to show off because I know that aligns with my goals. And it's like so many people want to be flashy. They want to like keep up with the Joneses. And I think sometimes you just got to you got to know what you want. You just got to put your head down and not give a shit what people think.
And people,
it's not bad to work in Tesco if it aligns with your goals.
You
know, that's
exactly.
it.
If it's on route,
I'll flip burgers and Mackie D's if it means I have to get to where I have to go. You know?
As long as it's on route to where you need to be and where you want to go, just.
I think my Tinder bio will be Mackie D's.
But yeah, just enjoy it, man. While you're there, like know that I'm doing this because it's bringing me closer to the other things I really want to be doing. This is part of the process. I'll get through it. And I lost my train of thought then. But yeah, as long as you enjoy what you're doing, man, it's important to have the ability to find the happiness in, every single moment you can, rather than constantly bring suffering upon yourself. So,
100%.
I think, do you like meditate, yoga and stuff like that?
I used to meditate quite a lot. I used to meditate for literally 6 months straight. Move into London.
Busy place, man.
Busy place, bro. London's mad, man. You forget like being back here for a week. I feel so much more grounded. I feel reminded of who I am, where I'm going, and being in London, man. You just forget it all. You're just so in work mode. And
that's why I specifically like.
I tried yoga a bit. It's good actually. It's really good.
Yoga's fun, but it's intense, man. It's surprisingly hard.
Bro, I went to a gym class in Chelsea near where I live, bro. I went inside the gym, bro. And it's full of old ladies, bro.
But they're showing you up, aren't they?
Showing me up, man. I'm there falling over one leg, man, trying to do all this tricycle shit. They're there. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Man. Like I walked
Grandma, how are you so strong?
Yeah, literally.
She'd probably whip my ass if I got out there, man.
Oh man, it's crazy, but things like that, the way when you start doing it and you realise what it's all about, man. But yeah, it's just hilarious when you go in there, elderly lady just shows you up, just laughs at you.
I know, man.
But stuff like that, I think, which is, obviously it's been on trend for a while. Meditation's been, yoga stuff like that. It's come back into consciousness and been a popular thing around the world.
For sure.
But I recommend anyone to check it out, and especially do it with the stress of the world today.
For sure, man. How do you feel like it's helped you in your life?
Again, just with what it does, it quietens the mind. You have, I don't know what the number is, but thousands, hundreds of thousands of thoughts a day, and being able to filter them out and get, find clarity.
I love that. Do you know what I'm actually going to advise? Because I think quieting your mind to focus, I think is probably one of the most important things ever. And I think your mind's so erratic. You need to really tune that shit down and focus on what you want. I think that's the point. Know what you want and write it down. This future authoring program. Honestly, I'm going to put a link below to it as well with your details and all your social medias and website and whatever. But I think sign up to it. Do it, because since I've done it, I don't think as much. I feel less anxious. I'm not always thinking because I've extracted everything and I put it down.
And that leaves you space to
focus on it.
That brings
and thoughts that make it even better. Thoughts that are positive loops associated with what I want. Rather than
because once you've extracted those thoughts and once you've extracted those thoughts out of your head, you've given your head more space to interpret those thoughts and filter those thoughts out and pick and choose what you need, what you don't need. So then you can continuously clarify and focus and pinpoint what you need and what you don't need.
Yeah, man, for sure. Because I guess there was a lot of stuff I wrote on there which was just complete waffle. When I fine tune it, it gets even more.
That's why journaling is good, because it's good to just get all the bullshit that's in your head, just get it out, because when it's all flying around in your head, it's hard to,
kind of navigate.
Yeah.
And I think when thoughts are generally flying around in your head, you can interpret thoughts which don't actually represent you as you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whether that's fear thoughts, whether that's judgments about yourself, what you think, and you think about it so much that it just drives you crazy. It drives you up the wall, man. There's been days, I'm going to open up right now, where I've thought some really weird shit and terrible shit that's made me just want to stay in and whack my head against a wall all day.
Yeah.
And it's like, this ain't me though. This is not Farron. It's like, because I have no kind of written down direction as to where I'm going. It's kind of hard to.
But that's the thing with meditation, it forces you to observe those thoughts and to let them come, let them fly by, observe them. If you feel you need to entertain that thought, then entertain that thought, have that train of thought, but if you don't, just let the next thought come in. Otherwise, but then the thing that's so nice about meditation is when you can make it through that entire train of thought and just have that empty space, where it's just you close your eyes and it's just empty.
Yeah, I should probably start meditating again, because I guess the one thing I did learn from meditation, from doing it, is that you don't judge yourself for what you think.
Yeah.
You just let thoughts come and go, and it's so relaxing and easy. Yeah, it's like you don't have to think about your thinking.
Yeah.
I think that's like the big thing, is like people think about their thinking quite a lot.
Yeah. So I definitely had like a long, arduous process with it, like not really understanding what it was like. I've probably been doing it consistently now for the last maybe 2 or 3 years, and definitely in the first year I was like, I don't really understand what I'm doing with this. I'm sitting down just doing nothing. But then the more you do it and the deeper you get into it, and again just asking yourself questions, what is this, why is this, the more it sort of just reveals yourself to yourself. So again, it just goes back to persistence and consistency. The more you do it, the more you understand it.
I think as well, take the time to try and understand yourself. I think self-awareness is a superpower.
Yeah.
I think when you understand yourself, you can move walls, mountains, and you can not even that. Forget like material stuff. You just feel better. Your life is just more fulfilled and enjoyed.
You can move mountains.
And you can move mountains. Yeah.
Let's not.
Don't let my own doubts get in it. Yeah, thanks. Fuck that. Do you want to?
You gotta be ambitious, man.
100%, bro.
There's nothing wrong with being ambitious. There's nothing, as long as it's done with openness and understanding for yourself, and it's done for the greater good of the people around you, and you're not harming anyone and being you.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing wrong with that. Be ambitious, do everything that you want to do.
I think like there's this interesting idea. When's enough? Well, when have you done enough? And I don't think you ever do enough. You never do enough. You always got to keep doing something which helps people, does something for you or something, because otherwise you're just going to erode.
Yeah. And again, like,
Kevin Hart was talking about that with his Joe Rogan podcast.
You watched that,
Yeah, bro.
Shout out to Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's a G. Yo, Joe, I want to come on your podcast one day. I swear to God. Hey, guys, listen up. Give me 2 years. I'm going to be on the Joe Rogan podcast, man. 100%.
He's definitely been...
Collective Connects next Joe Rogan. Let's do this shit, son.
No, he's definitely been...
Like dad, uncle. Uncle Joe, innit? That's what you call him. Uncle Joe. The uncle of America.
He's so cool, man. No, he's been leading the way for a lot of people, man. And he's definitely like someone who I've found, very helpful in, doing this sort of thing, podcast and bringing.
I kind of want to be Farron, but I want to be like the Joe Rogan for young people in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Because I think like a lot of these podcasts, you get like a lot of like really successful, well-known people. Whereas I think you're not normal. You're cool. Yeah. You're awesome. You're so different. You're unique in your own way. Hence why you're on the show. But I just want to get like people on the show rather than just like an Elon Musk was cool though. Did you see the Elon Musk one? Dude smoked weed in the podcast, bro.
He's like, huh? Nothing.
Yeah, no, I seen the way he inhaled it though. He didn't inhale that shit.
I know.
He blowed it in the mouth like, so man.
Yeah, but you still get a little bit though. You don't have to inhale. But.
Yeah, I guess. No, his shares in his company dropped by like 20% or some mad shit after that.
Yeah. But the things he's doing, man, like. He's taking us to space, man, and I find that so crazy.
Man. He's making us multi-planetary, man. He's taking us to Mars, man. We're gonna live on Mars in like 100 years.
I feel like I genuinely I'm fucking hoping I can get on the moon in my lifetime.
Oh, 100%.
I really hope that happens, man.
Yeah, man.
And
take a selfie on the moon.
Atmospheric flights.
I do a sex video on the moon. Dude, imagine how many streams that would get, man. I'd be famous, bro.
Oh man, you took it there, man.
Just get my girl on the moon. We just have it off.
You know what's gonna happen though? That's gonna be hilarious.
100%, man.
Just helmet like.
It'd be like POV doggy, just looking at the earth. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh damn, I'm gonna have to make this content explicit now. Yeah, because usually I can make it clean and it's open to everyone, but I guess this makes it explicit. Fuck it, hopefully no one noticed. Sorry Anchor if you do notice.
You're doing this on Anchor, is it?
Yeah, Anchor for the moment. I usually have a podcast studio where I record it, so that's pretty good, I do it there. That's in London, it's in my uni, so because it's half term time now, and in Cardiff as well, like getting around.
That's the thing with uni as well, is you have the facilities.
Yeah, dope. That's probably like
the
one
amount
of the reasons.
The amount of people I saw who just go in and then leave without using the facilities. You know,
crazy.
There were very few people I'd see who would put in the work, put in the grind, and stay behind till 9 o'clock in the evening, making use. Like if you go into uni, like make the most of it, use the facilities.
Bro, tell you what I think is so important for someone going into uni. Like you've been through uni, so obviously this doesn't really apply to you, but I guess you might have a viewpoint on it. Obviously it applies to everyone, but like don't treat it as like this kind of like escape from reality wonderland, because because it is in a sense, especially if it's a campus uni, like you're moving away from home.
Sense of independence.
Yeah, sense of independence. You get to sleep with a lot of people. You know, girls sleep with guys sleep with girls. You know, and all that shit.
You get distracted.
And you get distracted.
And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
exactly.
Have that, enjoy it. But you know, if you do have ambitions to do things,
I think everyone should.
Yeah.
I think it leads to a healthy society.
Balance. Like by all means, enjoy yourself and have these, have fun doing this, going out and partying and whatnot.
Agreed, yeah.
But don't say you want to do something and then not do it, put any energy towards it.
That's it, bro. The amount of people I like see and they're like, I want to do this and I want to do that. I'm like, that's great. Do it, man. And like, if I can help you, I will. We might have just met 5 minutes ago, but I could connect you to someone.
Yeah.
But actually go do it. Because like when you don't do it, you just make your life worse. And like so many people I know just talk shit to themselves. They come up with an excuse for as they're why not doing something, or why they're gonna wait for the right moment or the right time, or I'm gonna be a millionaire by the time you're 26. No, you're not. How?
Which you can be. But...
You can be, but how?
Yeah.
What's your plan?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so.
It's hard, man, because again, it's just the clutter, the amount of information. It becomes a clusterfuck, and the pace as well at which the world is moving.
Yeah, man.
Things come and go, new information, new ideas, and again, it just comes back to this point of decisiveness. You have to decide, and you have to, persist with that decision.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I think you got to especially if you're really young, like below 16, try different things out. Try so many things out, man. Everything you think you may like, do it.
Yeah.
Because when you find the one thing you love, it's part of you, so you'll just go all in naturally. Because I think you should make your hobby your work.
Yeah, obviously.
Like this right now is my hobby. I enjoy speaking to people. I find people really interesting, man. And I love creating stuff. So it's just a perfect mix between both.
Well, that's the dream, isn't it? That's the whole point, is to find an occupation in which you get paid to play. And it just happens.
Yeah.
It just happens in and of itself. There's no.
And not everyone's privileged to be in that position. Like, just being honest, a lot of people aren't in that position. So I guess it's like building up side hustles, which can allow you to get to that. If you're serious about it. But anyway, go on.
Not even so. Pretty much everyone's again. This goes back to stuff that's already been said. People like Gary Vee. Everyone's got a phone now. Everyone can start. The barrier to entry to anything is completely gone. So like you said, if you're young, explore, ask questions, try things out, try as many things as possible, see what you like and see what you don't like. Because the sooner you can filter things out, the sooner you can
get to your true purpose.
Yeah, especially with the platforms you have.
Dope. Yeah, cool. So let's sort of wrap this up here. Matthew, what's your one piece of advice for a young creative or a young person trying to pursue something they want? It could be anything, it doesn't have to be that. Just what's your one piece of insight, advice, just something you find interesting?
Don't judge yourself. Cool. Don't allow yourself a good few years to just explore and experiment and not feel obligated to be in a certain place by a certain time, especially if you're, say, around 15, 16, 17, you have plenty of time. And I don't know, what is it? Because when you do find it and you give all your time and energy to that, you'll be surprised at how quick the momentum of your decision and your energy and effort into it, once you find what you want to do, you'll be surprised at how quickly things come to you when you find that. But invest in yourself to explore and experiment in order to find that, because it will come to you. You will find it.
Yeah, man. I think, like, just wrap it up on my viewpoint on what you just said. I agree with you so much. From about 14 to 18, all my time really enjoyed myself. Went parties, chilled with my friends, did cool things. Read books, a lot of books. Started projects, started businesses, clothing. I sold stuff on eBay. I just did lots of different things. Started a blog, started loads of different things. Made videos online, Facebook videos, and I kind of liked all of them, but I didn't really love any of them. I wasn't all in. And now I've done this, I'm like, wow, this it wraps it all up. All my reading, all my learning, all my experience, all my testing, trying, exploring, meditation, spirituality, trying all different things. It's actually led into kind of this one sort of.
And the more you revisit things, the more you'll notice patterns, and you know, some of them will stack up, and you'll be like, right, this is something I'd like to build upon.
For sure.
Other things might fall away, and like, you know what, my energy isn't fully invested in this. That's the thing. The more you explore and experiment, the more you'll give yourself an opportunity to find and pinpoint the exact things that you'll really want to do that will really ignite your soul.
I love that. That's awesome. So I'm going to wrap up here. Matthew, bro, it's been awesome to have you on the show, man.
Thank you for inviting me, bro.
No worries, bro. It's been great to have you on the show. We're going to have links to every form of social media you have if you want that. I can get all your website uploaded maybe, or your freelance account, so if people want to work with you with all the different skills you possess and all the different abilities you have, maybe you want to remind people of that.
Yeah, sure, we'll do. Just for now, man, just follow me on Instagram @travelingman.
Cool. And Traveling Man, that's so cool. That's such a good tag, actually. So you should sell that handle. I'm joking, don't sell it, that's awesome.
Trademark that. But yeah, @travelingman on Instagram. And yeah.
Cool, and I'll have it all linked below. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a blessed week. Really take on some of the stuff we've actually said today. It's so easy to listen to something but then not really digest it for what it actually is, and not hear it, not actually take action on it. Even if you sit down for 5 minutes and jot down some of the things you heard and think about how you can apply that in your life, do it. And make sure you share this with a friend if you think they'll get some value from it. And more importantly than anything, get down in the comment section. Let's keep this conversation going. It's important what you guys think as well. And I'm pretty sure Matthew, if he has time, he'll also respond to some of your comments. And if you hit him up on Instagram or social media, I'm pretty sure he'll speak to you back and forth.
It's all about conversation.
There you go. It's all about conversation. We made a podcast about that, so check that one out as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's your boy Farron Khalid signing out. Thank you, Matthew. Great having you on the show. And see you very soon, I guess. Hopefully. Okay, bye. Just end it. Just end it.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.